Hello, my name is Susan Vance. I belong to an organization called SNAP, Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests. If you'd like to know more about our global mission to help those who have been sexually molested, please go to snapnetwork.org. Well, it's Friday, December 2nd, 2022, the last day, supposedly, of the Apostolic Visitation in Knoxville, Tennessee. Or is it? Because we cannot get verified whether there is or is not a visitation. Let me explain. First of all, the Diocese of Knoxville is a large area. So when I say Diocese of Knoxville, it means more than just the city of Knoxville, for sure. The Knoxville Hilton is the site of the Apostolic Visitation. How do I know? Well, I went there yesterday. The worst fears of the people, though, have come true. They truly have. I remember when I was a child watching the Twilight Zone when it came on our little black and white TV. Well, this gentleman was the narrator of the Twilight Zone back in those days. We have a new narrator today. His name is Jim Wogan, Communications Director of the Diocese of Knoxville, and he is narrating the Twilight Zone 2022. Calls, Jim, are you answering them? Are you returning your calls? Are you answering your emails? Because I hear that you're not. You didn't return my call, but that's not unusual. However, the press, the media have tried to contact you, have received no answer, and the question is very simple. Is there or is there not a apostolic visitation in Knoxville, Tennessee? These two men are conducting that. Bishop Burbidge of Arlington, Virginia, and Bishop Knestout of Richmond, Virginia. The Vicar General, Father Michael G. Boehling of the Diocese of Richmond, is actually kind of overseeing this whole thing. So if you want to, I'm going to give you his email address later on. You can email him and make some of your complaints known. Why not? I mean, if there's not a visitation, he'll just delete them. If there is, he better listen. This is my new symbol for an apostolic visitation. Do you know what that is? Well, now you do. This is what's happening in Knoxville. We are reverting to the Middle Ages. And apparently apostolic visitations are going to revert to the Middle Ages as well. And this is a fear that we all have, that we will not keep up with the 21st century. If the diocese will neither confirm nor deny that this is going on, what are we left with? We're in the age of the internet, the cell phone, and social media, and yet we are still in the dark about whether there is or is not a visitation. This is what it reminds me of. This is the medieval church that we do not need to go back to. Three little letters, NDA, are the big problem here, among others, but they are a serious problem. An NDA is a non-disclosure agreement, and unbeknownst to them, when the priests and the people walked into the room for an interview, they were told to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They don't have a copy. They were not told they were going to have to do so, as far as I can hear, and yet that's what's happened. So if you go into a meeting and all of a sudden you have no voice when it's over, then there's no transparency. This is silencing. This is against everything that we're told the church is trying to do now. Pope Francis just said, if there is less transparency, it is a mistake. What was he talking about? It was in America Magazine, and he was talking about investigation of bishops. Now, you will argue that it's about investigations of abuse, sexual abuse by bishops, but Pope Francis also said that the cover-up of abuse is abuse. So this lack of transparency, as Pope Francis says, it's a mistake, and it has to be fixed. We're dealing with the cover-up, intimidation, and retaliation by Bishop Richard Sticca. Now we're dealing with that with the visitation team. Cover up, intimidation, retaliation. You go in, you speak. After you sign an NDA, you're intimidated into silence, and they will retaliate if you speak. This cannot be allowed to stand. Transparency does not exist. Archbishop Fobb, is this what you wanted? You interviewed the priest. You came down and listened to them on September 27th. Then you went back to Louisville. Did you go back there and say, let me think how I can silence these guys? And they'll behave themselves once they're silenced. Is that what you wanted? Pope Francis, is this what is transparency in the Catholic Church? Is this what you wanted? You said no, but we have no verification otherwise. We can neither confirm nor deny that you want transparency. Here is Father Boehling's email address, vicargeneral@richmonddiocese.org. If you want to see the complaint I have sent in to the visitation team, you can go to rememberthesurvivors.com at the top of the page. Don't be silenced, people. Just don't be silenced. I don't care what you sign. Don't be silenced. This is not the time to acquiesce to their intimidation and retaliation. So more about this later. This is the last day, apparently, that they'll be in Knoxville. So get your emails in. Make your voice heard. If we're loud enough, maybe they won't ignore us. I guess we'll see. Have a good day.